What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Time to wake on up. Get up. Get your body moving. Woo! Friday, y'all. I'm thinking, God, it's Friday this time.
TGIF.
What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yay.
Yeah.
Got the early birds up. What's going on, Pops? Good morning, all. Wow, I can't believe it's Friday again. Mad love from Vegas. What's happening,
Yes,
Pops?
sir.
What's going on, Miss Wanda Lewis? Gives us a good
Hey.
morning. Morning to you.
Top of the morning to you.
Yep. Man, just trying to get it together this morning. This one of them ones, man. I'm tired, boss.
He tired, boss.
Boss, he tired.
And double.
Brother Valentine says, morning, fam. It is Friday. That's right.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy about that today for some reason.
Excited?
Even though I know I'm going to be working tomorrow, but still, I'm excited.
Come on in.
Let us know how you feeling out there this morning, man. It's a weak drug for me, big time.
I'm sure kicking it off with the skibbity paps didn't help.
Yeah, man. My arm's still sore from all them shots.
Man.
They see, I got that Dr. Skibbity pat me up.
I don't know how I feel about you getting all those vaccine shots and then getting sick like 2 days later.
Well, like I said, they got a little bit of disease in the vaccine, so
yeah,
it's crazy. Stacey Jenkins is good morning, First Sky Omaha family and friends. What's happening? Hey. Carolyn Jack gives us a good morning with the Purple Heart. That's what's up. 1999 40th anniversary yesterday.
Okay.
Prince's legendary 1999 album, so all the Purple fam definitely listened to the whole thing through. I got to listen to it with a 27-year-old, 26-year-old that hadn't heard the whole thing, and a 26-year-old songwriter, so he was very impressed.
Man, I mean, Prince is Prince.
Yep. Shout out to Tag Ryan. That's what's up.
You know, what really gets me is like realizing and observing the influence. Like there really is like either a Prince or a Michael Jackson tree, especially in R&B and soul. A lot of the new artists you can almost pick it out. They're either under the Michael Jackson tree or under the Prince tree.
That's interesting. There's got to be something that's both.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something that's both, but like you think of like Chris Brown, Michael Jackson tree, the dancing.
True. Yeah, there's performers, then there's producers.
Right.
Kimber
I'm not even talking about what they do, just the sound, the style. Think of Janelle Monáe. That's definitely a Prince tree.
Yeah, I can see that. Kimber Snipes gives us a good morning, y'all. Good morning to you. Linda in Chicago says, happy Friday, happy warm weather.
Okay. Where you at?
In Chicago. See, look, what's the name say now?
I thought Chicago was cold. Definitely around this time. The Windy City, right?
I don't think she's in Omaha. I'm not sure. Ariel's 402, let them feel the beat first. I'm about to come through your stereo. Should I start with the hook? Start with the hook. To my people that don't want to go to work, thank God it's Friday.
Hey.
Now, I will say this. I'm not a big Wyclef fan, but that song was off the chain.
Oh, yeah. That song's a heavy rotation on Mind and Soul. Come on. Probably still on First Sky Radio.
That was all me. I was like, well, if we're going to play some Fugees, I need to hear this one.
Man.
Thanks for joining us again. It is Friday, October 28th, 2022. Yes. And you're listening to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, buddy to God, all of you. It's going down. Mama God in the house. Good morning, First Sky fam. Hey, shout out to the radio listeners as well. FirstSkyOmaha.com. Hit the listen button. For those of you listening on the radio channel, really appreciate you coming on in. Let me know how the mix was this morning. My 6:30 crew. And yeah, and all of you, man, thanks for getting up so early with us on this Friday. Christy Norris says good morning. Good morning to you as well. I know a lot of people are chiming up because elections are less than what, like a week and a half away now, right?
Yeah, yeah, less than 2 weeks. On Wednesday, it was 13 days. So yeah, like 11 days now.
Yeah, yeah. So I know a lot. I'm seeing a lot of people like in the chat, for instance, that I know are rallying up and doing the good work of knocking on doors and helping out and making calls and doing the thing. So that's what's up.
Yeah, yeah.
Josh, Josh takes his happy Friday. Oh, what's going on, brother?
Hey,
Josh
hey,
Take. Linda to Chicago says, I'm in Omaha. Forecast 60s, 70s coming up. That's warm for Omaha this time of year.
you mean to
Great.
tell me Linda in Chicago is not in
Linda in Chicago
Chicago?
in Omaha.
Oh man, I feel so bamboozled.
Been
No,
hoodwinked. Run amok.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Led astray. It's all good though. We appreciate you for tuning in wherever you are. And yeah, yeah, that is kind of, I guess that's kind of warm for Halloween season in Omaha.
Yeah, dude. Especially since it was like it's been like 30 every morning, 28.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Sounds right.
Shout out to Wells Lavelles gives us a good
Hey,
morning. Aho, brother, what's going on? Good talking to you yesterday. We got an event coming up that the brothers helping us put together here at the Benson Theater. It's going to be a movie showing of rhymes for young ghouls, and that's going to be coming up on November 9th. We had to move the date on it, but November 9th is that time frame for that movie. It's going to be a talkback session with a couple of elders from the indigenous community. So I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah. So
dope.
we'll be talking about an extensive haps a little later on today, since it is Friday.
Yes, it is.
In the meantime, between time, buddy, how you feeling? How you doing? What's your life
I'm
like
all
right
right.
now?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I am excited. The launch, like we're starting to roll out the new podcast that I've been working on down here at the We Outside show. So definitely excited about that, getting some feedback. So yeah, definitely go check that out. But yeah, man, that's kind of been my focus. Been like cutting a lot of video for that, but also getting into the swing of things for this. Of course, there's some footage and things that we have in the coffers, if you will, that trying to figure out what to do with. Of course, got some other things in the work. So just trying to keep the momentum going. It is getting close to the end of the season, and I will be honest, I have a tendency to get lazy around holiday season, just kind of pack it in like I get back to it next year. But I'm trying to stay focused. It's a lot of things going and trying to keep the momentum going into next year, man. I can't believe it. Season 4, First Guy Omaha already, man. I'm definitely glad that we're hearing excited again about the future of this show as well. So yeah, man, that's where I am right now. Feeling good, feeling energized.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Kimber Snipes is out there doing the good work. She says, I'm going to be in South Sioux next week helping my organizer last minute canvas for the election.
Okay.
So, yeah, they still need volunteers and stuff like that. You can always hit Precious McKesson up or ask Kimber where to go. But they always can use some people that are going to help with the election. Still got some time. Still got a week and a half or so to go. So
Yeah.
all door knocking and phone calls will help at this point.
Yeah, the clock is ticking, getting down to the nitty gritty. So again, for those of you who have not voted, you still can vote. You still can. Early voting is still open, is still available. Big shout out again to Kimra. Big shout out to Precious. Big shout out to the reader. Everybody who's trying to make sure that the voters are informed. Again, there is plenty of information as you see the key dates coming up. Let's see what we have left. Today is the 28th, so actually today is the last day to register in person. So again, if you haven't registered, today is the last day to do so. So don't feel like it is too late. But you got till about 6 p.m. So make some plans. Make some plans. Also, today is the deadline to request an early absentee ballot be mailed to you. I have to look into that. I wonder, does anybody have any information like if I'm still registered to vote? Even though I'm not living in Nebraska, can I still do that as an absentee?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. Yeah, you said you registered in Atlanta already, right?
Yeah, I am registering in Gwinnett. Can
I
you
don't,
be registered dual registered?
I don't think so. No, don't be doing nothing wild now. You know they're gonna put you in jail. The Republicans are gonna put you in jail for doing anything now. He gave him a glass of water and then he tried to vote for 2 different states. You be in trouble. You know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, we'll actually get into that a little later on. But yes. I
And
just
then
was
and then
wondering.
his license was expired on top of that. He tried to bamboozle us.
Well, I see. I still do got my Nebraska ID. Ain't that what they care about? Their Nebraska ID? Ain't that's what they care about, right?
Chrissy Nora says nobody
No,
with an
no.
exclamation point on it.
It
No.
just hurts me to talk about all this and not be able to
Uh,
partake.
call five of your brothers back home. That's all.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, each one teach one, each one
There you
teach one.
go.
But yes, we are just days away, so make sure you get on to that. Not too
Please
much,
do.
not
Ariel
too much.
Squirrel 2 says top of the weekend YouTubers at YouTubers. That's what's up. Thanks for all the people on YouTube. Judy Princer gives us a good morning, fam. Good morning to you, Judy. Kimber Snipe says, I want to know how she's getting all her volunteers because it's hard for all the nonprofits we're working across the state. Getting volunteers is tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is
it
tough.
is.
You got to
It is.
bribe them something. I don't know what you got to do. Uh,
Even that ain't working. They paying. Even that ain't working.
Chrissy North says we can talk about Herschel. Oh
No,
no,
no. We can't.
we ain't
No,
talking
we all
about her.
right.
No.
Man, yeah.
Carolyn Jack says we'll be doing a free buddy event.
Man, I was laughing at that. Nah. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
I'll
well,
definitely be voting for Stacy though. I'll tell you that much.
oh you get it. You got the chance to vote for Stacey Abrams now. Dang,
Yeah, man.
that's what's up.
Yeah. So
All right,
I guess
so
that counts for something.
yeah, man. Hopefully we get Stacey. We get Abrams and blood. The A and the B in.
Hmm.
Yep. Mama God said next week. Next week we'll hear about first Sky voting scandal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Put me in jail. I'll be like, he did it. He the one did it.
oh dang. See, that's where they was hiding all the votes in first side.
It, you know how much they would blow that up so huge. It'd be like all the chimers, all the listeners, everybody was trying to vote in both
It's
places.
collusion. Nah, man.
Hot
Nah.
mess, hot
I was
mess.
just wondering. I was just asking.
Hey, Kimmer says take a picture on that on your ballot and share it when you when you fill that in for Stacey Abrams. Take a picture of it.
Okay.
That's what's up,
I
man.
would do
That's
that.
history.
I would do
That's
that.
history right there. That's what's up.
Hey,
Uh,
history making B. Hey.
yeah, you did get some sleep last night. My goodness, that's what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, I did.
Appreciate you. We do have a special guest that's coming in today from Opera Omaha to talk about this opera about the life and times of Malcolm X. I think this is
Yes.
going to be a very very interesting interview. Because I'm putting a question out there. First of all, Andrea Joy Pearson is the guest that's coming on a little later on about from Opera Omaha, and I want to know. I know that a lot of us don't necessarily go see the opera, but will we go see this opera? I would
Hmm.
like to know if you have plans, if this is something that you guys are thinking about doing and supporting Opera Omaha for doing this. They've been doing a lot of work on this life and times of Malcolm X situation here, talkbacks and stuff beforehand, after. And they bringing on some powerhouse people to come and do this opera. They're
Man, I don't understand how like well I guess I could, but I don't like Omaha is definitely one of those places where you should have a healthy love and appreciation for the arts, at least the theater. Like I grew up basically in the theater, like starting out in the Rose, doing the programs, and I know a lot of people went to the Rose Theater growing up as a kid, and then of course you got the field trips to the Orpheum.
It's cultural. There's gatekeepers in symphonies, operas, theaters, and sometimes they turn it into a culture thing. So we get older, and then our culture is like, nah. I mean, we got our own classics. We got, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Jazz is our classical music. You know what I'm saying? So you got to
yeah,
go through a little bit of identity thing. But the older I get, though, I'm starting to appreciate even broader, genres of stuff. Just because now, like I can kind of take I have my own level. I have my own idea of what's important and what's culturally significant for me, and so now I can experience other things with that back knowledge. So I don't know. Now I'm gonna see. Kimber Snipes has got my Opera Omaha ticket. She going.
hey, okay. Well, we'll definitely love. I am kind of upset that I missed those two conversations. I know you had mentioned that those are pretty enlightening. Shout out to everybody who tuned in and attended those.
Yeah, and you can go to Opera Omaha their YouTube channel and watch the live stream from Benson Theater of the discussions too. So you can go back and watch those. They're still up.
There you
But
go.
yeah, we'll definitely have her on to talk about that. Just jumping back into the chat real quick. Kimber says a lot of people don't understand the Stacey Abrams philosophy, and that's why I'm hoping to tie into the work we're doing at the table. That's cool. Can't wait to dig into that. Pop says I saw a video where formerly incarcerated men were told they could vote. They did. Were later arrested again, and were later
Really?
arrested again. See,
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? They look for anything. They can look for anything. Uh, Josh Take says opera is different, but if you open up your mind, you'll be surprised how it can win you over. Opera Omaha, in particular, is leading the charge in the high arts on being inclusive and accessibility by all. Yeah, man.
Dope. Dope.
They got a black choreographer for this show. Like this ain't just gonna be people walking standing around singing. This
Mhm.
is yeah. Somebody is playing Ella Fitzgerald in this opera. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
Was it
So
was that the Omaha is Omaha Symphony, Omaha Opera, are those two completely different entities?
yes.
Okay, okay. Because I know the symphony, then they have like a so-called black conductor. Oh, for some
Well, yeah, yeah. For years, he just left, but they still do a lot of really culturally significant stuff. As what just happened last weekend, where Josh was trying to get some tickets away for some brothers that was coming in doing some things. So yeah, there is a lot going on, man. I love to see the diversity and what people are trying to do and bring different crowds in. They have to this for the survival of those kinds of arts. They got to be able to include everybody and I see Omaha's doing a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out.
Compared to other cities I've been to. So that's what's up.
There you go. There you go. So looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah.
Looking forward to many other conversations though. We do have other things to talk about. Definitely going to dive back into this National Guard story. We kind of mentioned it on Wednesday, but wanted to round back around to that and dive a little deeper. Kind of jump into some of the quotes and yeah, just our thoughts about that situation. I know Paul, you had some thoughts. I would love to hear that. And of course, if you have any input in the chat, feel free to chime in. Also, we'll be looking deeper at some of these ads. Again, it is campaign season, just days away from election day. And of course, I know we've all seen the ads. I'm down here in Georgia. I'm seeing the ads. It can kind of get crazy. It can kind of get crazy, but don't get lost in the sauce, y'all. Let's make sure we're focused on what's important. So we're going to talk about that. And then also definitely diving into and continuing our conversation about education, man. Their parents' views of what's going on in the classrooms are obviously differing, but I know we have some people who have children and young folk in school. So I would definitely love to hear what you think and what's your take on this situation. So all that and more coming up in the next 2 hours. We're a little behind, but we don't believe in the concept of time around here.
Yeah.
First Sky Omaha. Let's go.
Let's do it. What up? What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All be, buddy to God, all of you, the chat chimers, all of you, the ghost listeners, thanks for joining us early this morning on this Friday, October the 28th, 2022.
Man.
Shout out to the radio crew as well. Really appreciate everybody who jumps in on the radio in the morning. 6:30 crew, let me know how the mix was. You can always go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the listen button, and it's a 24/7 celebration of black music over there. Most definitely check that out. We are definitely beefing up the station and doing some things there as well. You can also ask your Amazon Alexa to play First Sky Omaha Radio. Also, like I said, special guests coming in today. Andrea Joy Pearson from Opera Omaha will be here. So stay tuned for that. We'll have some things to discuss and consider and ponder the question: will you go to this opera? Will you go check out the life and times of Malcolm X and support what Opera Omaha is doing here in can we get a group together maybe and go check it out? Kimmer Snipes is already going, so that's what's up. I'm definitely gonna go check it out myself. So, something to ask our particular base of friends here. We're gonna go check it out. What do you feel about the higher arts, so-called higher arts as opera and so on? I think it'll
Hmm.
be really interesting. Josh Takes as the symphony is hired a hired band for the opera though. They'll be in the pit next weekend for the show.
See?
A lot of cross promotion there and stuff going on.
Yes.
That's what's up,
See?
man. Pop says, yes, Josh, I agree. I hated opera. So trying to expand my horizons, I took an 18-hour online course about it and grew to greatly appreciate it.
Hmm.
Interesting. I know that. I know that. I know that you did that. That's really interesting that you, oh, you know what? I do kind of remember that. I think you had them on DVDs at your house one time, and I was looking for some stuff to watch, and I kind of watched some opera stuff. I do
Really?
that, yeah. Yeah, I did too. I learned a lot about the art form and learned a lot. That would be something else. Areas 402 says, "I would go." Would you go, Mayor Sanchez? It would be my first. Let's
Okay.
let's do it, man. Let's get a group together and go check it out. Yep, yep. Meantime, between time, got a lot to talk about today, so we'll go ahead and jump in since we're running a tad bit late, buddy. What's on the agenda?
Yeah, man, let's go ahead and dive right into the deep and kick off with a story that we kind of touched on Wednesday, but would like to round back around and get some more input on. Talking about the new armory. Of course, we love to talk about guns here on the show. And the Nebraska National Guard will build actually Nebraska's newest and now biggest armory, which is under construction. The ceremony kicked off on Tuesday when senior guard and political leaders broke the ground, if you will. Again, the ceremony where they just shove shovels in the dirt again to signify the beginning of the project, which has actually been in plan since 2008. So it's been a long time in the running, but of course, certain pieces have to move. And U.S. Republican Don Bacon and Senator Deb Fisher, or excuse me, Representative Don Bacon and Senator Deb Fisher were a part of securing the federal funds for this project, which they called an important milestone. Actually, Bacon said once it's built, it'll make a difference in the lives of thousands and thousands of National Guard members for decades and decades to come. If you're wondering where this will be, the new center will be located west of Offutt Air Force Base, just on South 25th Street by Willow Lakes Golf Course. It's about a 40-acre site. And according to Major General Daryl Bohack, it's a literal beacon on a hill, which is quite interesting. How they talk about an armory and guns and things like that. But the project again was planned back in 2008. It was originally going to be by Meade, but this is interesting. They say we need to be building readiness centers in the communities, not in the cornfields, which I find interesting given the events Freedom Summer just years ago, which is where I wanted to talk about. But of course, season 4 is all about following the bag and how much federal funds did Bacon and Fisher secure. Apparently, they got $29 million for the project back in fiscal year 2020. So again, a new armory, apparently the state's biggest, will be located just down the road on South 25th. Paul, what are your thoughts?
Well, you know my thoughts already. Just thinking about the events of Freedom Summer and how they had to wait for the National Guard to come out to secure, quote unquote, secure the streets. And the stuff that we learned back at that time, which is that uh, there's a direct link from Offutt to the Fort campus that used to be
Mhm.
a military campus as
Of course.
well, going straight down 24th Street, so they can access us very, very quickly that way. And now they won't have to wait for the National Guard to come in. They'll have the National Guard there on this beacon on the hill to just swoop right on in when it's time. So
Mhm.
we put that together with all the stuff that we've learned over the course of the time that we've been doing what we do, and it's very concerning.
Mm.
Going all the way back to when we were in Mind and Soul and reporting on the concentration camps that they were building in Council Bluffs, and what are those going to be used for? Type of thing. So then Freedom Summer breaks out, and then they feel like they have so much unrest in the city that they have to bring out the National Guard for it, and so on. Of course, that didn't happen until Brother Skurlock was killed a few days later. Then the National Guard came through
Mhm.
because they saw things ramping up. But that's the point to me. When they say this will be a beacon on the hill, this is readiness and what we need and so on. For what? What do you need all this readiness for?
Yeah, that's
Explain that part.
my thoughts exactly. That
We
kind of
have
jump. pay
we have
attention.
no choice but to conclude the things that we're concluding because you're not even saying why this is so important that you have to come up with millions of dollars to put the National Guard right there next to the base. So yeah, definitely have some concerns about those things. I'd like to leave it to the chat too. The reason why we brought this back up, we definitely want to hear from you guys what it is that you feel is the reason behind it. If this is an important thing, if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing, where do you stand on those things? Love to know. Kimber Snipes in the chat says City Council has a new armored vehicle on the agenda next week. Yep, we got that story. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And it's just a further militarization of the police and further military and now National Guard even. So I mean, like there's three branches
Yeah.
that have direct access right down our main roads in South and North Omaha, and and so yeah, it's very concerning.
Yeah, I find it interesting that you use the word concerning. I'm kind of thinking, is it? I want to take it as concerning or is it interesting? But I think when you take in consideration how the National Guard has been used, not just the National Guard, this is nothing against anybody in the National Guard, like but you follow orders, and where do those orders come from? And which is the question, and the governor is the one who can mobilize the National Guard in any situation, which again we've seen with the civil unrest across the country during Freedom Summer. Now that we're calling it in 2020.
Hmm.
So given that, if Ilan Pillin does, you know, do what he's trying to do and stands on what he's talking about standing on as far as the grand old party script of law and order and following under Trump's yoke, what does that mean? It is kind of concerning at that point. It does become concerning. So these are definitely things that we should look out for, be aware of, and pay attention to.
I was thinking about the older ones in the chat chimers might remember a time when the National Guard, helped walk the little girls into school when integration started
Mhm, mhm.
because they had to come and they were kind of against the local constabulary. You know what I'm saying? Like they were against they had to make
Yeah, what
local
was that, Bull
law.
O'Connor? Bull O'Connor?
Yeah, they had to make local law enforcement do what it was supposed to do. But it's been a long time since them days. In my generation, the only time I ever hear anything about the National Guard is when they're coming to back up the police on something. And I can't think of anything since the '60s where that was the case. Now, I haven't been paying that much attention to it, so I could be wrong. But let me know in the chat if you guys know of if you what is your feeling about the National Guard period? Because it almost feels to me like a third branch of military. I mean, it's you know what I'm saying. Like right now we'll be looking at what's going on in the sheriff's department, and if certain people get into the sheriff's department, they'll be deputized as sheriffs. The police department we're worrying about. We're also worrying about the actual military because there is a base right there, and then that's what I was thinking. I was thinking during Freedom Summer there would be people in the military base from Offutt coming down to help some stuff out, but that didn't happen. But they did wait for the National Guard to come in, so that now that's like a fourth
Mhm.
entity to have to worry about whether or not they decide that there needs to be law and order in a certain area, and those are forces against you.
Yeah, I mean, I think there have to be like international interference before we actually see, actual troops from Offutt get mobilized. I think sheriffs, police, and National Guard are definitely the areas to look at. But yeah, still
Yeah.
the same.
They kept they supposedly came and kept the peace during Freedom Summer. So when that stuff after Brother Skurlock got killed, they came out a few days later and we're kind of standing guard
Mhm.
while guard while people getting dispersed and making sure that nobody got hurt on both sides.
Yeah.
So they, like I said, they're supposed to be there for I feel like I need to look at why they exist. Why does the National Guard exist?
I mean, that's is to my understanding, that's the kind of the domestic military, if you will. Like you got the armed forces who handles all international conflict, um, international conflict or international issues or whatever we have to do internationally. That's what the armed forces are for. but anything domestic that goes, kind of above sheriff and police, then I believe you have, your ATF, FBI, armed National
Hmm.
Guard, things like that.
So they're in with those groups. So again, my understanding, it's kind of like the federal military almost. Like if
In
the
a way.
state police are doing something against what federal law is, the National Guard would come in, and sometimes they'll battle the state officials or the state law enforcement, or sometimes they'll back up the law enforcement.
And
Like I
that's what I
said,
was trying.
last time in the when I speak to older ones, they remember the National Guard coming in and saving people from Bull Connor and them. But my generation don't have stories like that I can remember.
And that's what I'm trying to think of. I'm not too sure of that because I do think that there were reports of police and National Guard kind of being at odds at times during Freedom Summer, not necessarily in Omaha, but in, maybe in, like, I want to say Seattle, um, Portland, those areas.
Jumping in the chat real quick, Arrows 402 says, I call them the national fraud after
Mm,
the January 6th insurrection. Bellevue definitely supports the base. I'm fine with having a new armory built. Okay.
okay,
Wanda Lewis says, are they preparing for an uprising?
that's what we're
Good
thinking.
question. Ariel's 402 says, if they declare martial law, the guard will enforce the curfews.
That part too, and that's what kind of made me think. Somebody had mentioned martial law in the chat on
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
missed.
yeah, yeah. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, Carolyn Jackson says the purpose of the National Guard is to respond to domestic emergencies and natural disasters. They have been misused at local levels. That's where I'm going with that.
Hmm.
She said exactly how what I'm thinking right now. The purpose in all caps, the purpose of the National Guard is to respond to domestic emergencies and natural disasters. They have been misused at local levels. So this is every time I've ever heard about it, it's the police couldn't handle this riot or something. So here comes the National Guard
Mm-hmm.
to back up to help restore law and order along with the police.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been a whole lot I guess I mean, I don't look at every case that the National Guard comes to. They probably are responding to natural disasters and stuff like that. But what domestic emergencies are they responding to? They got to be talking about riots and
Oh yeah.
uprisings.
The people. That's what they're talking about. The people. And yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a good point. And really, again, this all depends on the governor. Kind of going back to Sister Carolyn
Yeah,
Jack's point, who is misusing, this entity on the local level? The governor is the one who can call it. And as we've seen with Freedom Summer, Republican governors were the ones that were answering the call. What did Trump say when he was on the call with the governors?
yeah. He was calling them wimps and stuff.
Man, and told them to get in line and get ready. Like he was calling them to action, and
Yeah.
some of them listened. Against the people though, like there were reports of National Guards like going to, there are tents for water for protesters and first aid kits for protesters. And did you see that photo of like the National Guard people like pouring out the protesters water and knocking
Mhm.
down their tents and stuff? So
Yeah.
yeah, again, but that's the call of the governors.
So, like Carolyn Jack is saying, the National Guard is supposed to respond to domestic emergencies. Who declares a domestic emergency?
Right.
But the governor is saying, "Well, we have a domestic emergency here because they're out in the street protesting."
And who do they identify, or what do they identify as the threat? You know?
Yeah. And the martial law thing too. Wanda Lewis said that was me speaking on the martial law the other day. The martial law part is interesting too because you don't like martial law gets declared when the National Guard is in town.
Mm.
When they've called them in and now they're gonna have curfews and everything else going on. They're the ones that's gonna be enforcing that. So yeah, man. Uh, whew,
Yes.
kind of a trip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
kind of a trip. I'm glad that we're talking about it. This is the kind of stuff that it sneaks past. And look at the tone. Look at the tone of the article. Look at the tone of the politicians that put
Man,
these things together. the a beacon on the hill. Do we need the National Guard that bad? Like what is the what's the thing here? Where are they? What are they feeling like this is going to do? Bring jobs? I mean, bring what kind of security do you think is going to bring here? Like, I don't get it. You got a military base right there. What domestic and how much domestic stuff is going on that you think we better spend millions and build something for the National Guard to come in here for what? Even Freedom Summer, like even the protests in the civil unrest that happens here isn't. What are they setting up for?
That's the question. That's ultimately the question. And one more reason to vote for Carol Blood.
Oh, we missed the hood table. Good morning, hood table. How you doing? Thanks for
Hey,
coming on in. Yes, one more reason why we need new blood for sure. Marianne Williams says the National Guard deploys with the federal military too, but they also serve the states. They are deployed during disasters. They served in Afghanistan and Iraq. Ricketts sent them to Texas border recently too.
yep. I remember those reports.
It'd be interesting to know from what it is that they think this, why they think this is necessary, or what do they think this is accomplishing. It'd be interesting to just hear that part. So just them just going, it's a beacon on the hill. We should all be happy this is happening. Why? What is it for? These are questions I don't have the answers for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that- that's why we bring them to y'all. But yes. Keep it moving, man. And other news. But in similar news, again, it is still election season. Talking about the Florida vote, the no confidence vote
Mm.
for Ben Sass, and what that means possibly for again Nebraska elections. This could have caused a domino effect, if you will, as far as seats and who's running for what. Of course, the big question of who will replace Ben Sass if he did, become the Florida University of Florida president. And what does that mean for Ricketts' future politically in Nebraska? But looks like there's a wrench thrown in that. Not only were the students again not happy about the news of Ben Sass making his way down south, but apparently the staff. Again, it was reported that they would have a no confidence vote, and apparently that vote has come down, and it has been approved a no confidence vote on the process that selected U.S. Senator Ben Sass, again selecting him as the sole finalist out of 700 plus applicants, which smelled fishy to begin with, but I guess we're not the only one that smelt it. This is the staff, again, no confidence in that process. The vote by the UF Faculty Senate was aimed at the process, though multiple members acknowledged it would be perceived as a rebuke of Sass, the Republican senator whose selection last month, again, as a sole finalist, led the university, jolted Nebraska's political universe, of course, as we're talking about who will replace Sass if he does accept that position. Of course, during his first visit to campus, Sass faced 300 plus students protesting, who mainly focused on his stance on same-sex marriage and other LGBTQ plus issues. The protest prompted current University of Florida president Ken Fuchs to announce that he was enforcing a 21-year-old regulation ban, again banning protests inside campus buildings, which was quite interesting as well. Again, the students' protest led to a ban, which is quite interesting. Thursday's resolution focused criticism on the selection process, again, that university officials followed, claiming it undermined the trust and confidence of the faculty senate. Again, 700 applicants, and Ben Sass was the sole selection out of that. Find that interesting.
Yeah, to say the least.
And I guess back to Nebraska you go, Ben.
So yeah, so that's now what next? If he's what was he doing? Because I think I mean he's out of the seat, right? He's still gonna be out of the seat. He's not gonna come back and get his job back here, is he?
No, I think he still has a seat, and there is still a process that he can end up in Florida if officials ultimately approve Sass's appointment in Florida. Again, it will fall to Nebraska's governor to appoint his successor. So there is still a possibility that this process will still go forth. It's all up to Faculty Senate Chair Amanda Fallon, who serves on the board of trustees for the university.
Yeah. So, like Ariel's 402 says, he could still get the job if they were more transparent with the process and have a revote,
Yep.
and maybe he
Yep.
could. But I'm saying if he doesn't get the job out there, what does that mean back here for us? He's not like he's going.
If he doesn't get the job, I believe he comes back to his post as
Can he
senator.
can he come back to his post as senator?
I believe so. I don't think he's officially left. That's the
So he's really waiting to see if he got the job before he leaves.
Yep.
Must be nice.
Yep.
Okay. Well, and then so then and then Ricketts runs for president next, right? That's probably
Basically, that's the look. That's the next question. If SAS does get this unanimous vote from the board of trustees at the University of Florida, then the next dominoes that fall is whoever wins the governor's seat. If Ricketts wants the position, then he waits for Pillen. I guess is the plan to get the governor's seat. Pillen appoints Ricketts to Sass's seat, and then they together put somebody in the board of trustees seat at the University of Nebraska. So yeah, it's definitely a political game of chess and a merry-go-round. But something to look out for, especially when we take in consideration the grand old party script.
yes. Over on YouTube, Linda in Chicago, who is not in Chicago, bamboozling us like that. She says, "Yes, we can really make a difference by voting for Carol Blood and Blue up and down the ballot. Crazy starts with our local government. We need to change the direction for a better future for sure." Marianne Williams, who's been dropping a lot of gems over there in Friends of First Sky Omaha, and we
Yep.
appreciate that. Says, "I'm pretty sure that the U.S. military wouldn't have the numbers or bodies needed for wars without the Guard. I'm not sure they would ever have, but now with active duty military recruiting numbers down, they'll be dependent on more heavily." Okay. Kimmer Snipes says the way they handled that process is the same way the mayor handled the process with the library. Really, the same way the chief handled the process with these complaints that he tried to cover up.
Ooh.
Man, shots fired. She says they do what they want when they weren't or how they want. They do what they want when they want, how they want. They don't care or need or want input. Yeah, like you said, they're just pieces moving. They're shuffling around the board, man. Just like if
Mm.
it's don't work here, we'll put it there. Interesting stuff how this is gonna work. So anyway, we just kind of wanted to update that thing about SAS because we've been talking about it. So yeah, they
Yeah.
voted no contest. We'll see what that ends up meaning for us.
And it could spark off a bunch of moves to look out for.
It will one way or another spark off a bunch of moves. It
Yeah,
seems like
yeah,
it.
and that's a good question because if Saz doesn't get the job down in Florida, if Ricketts is eyeing that seat and doesn't get it, what's next? What's his plan B?
He'll leave,
Um,
he'll leave Sass flapping in the wind. Right? He'd be like, "Yeah, nah, bro. Yeah, you already o- obvious. Your heart's not in this seat. Let's go on, give it up."
like Diddy, take that, take that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of when I said that. Diddy. Marianne Williams says, "If I had my choice between OPD patrolling with tanks and the National Guard, I choose the Guard. They're trained not to shoot first." Speaking of which, there is a tank in the works.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to get this link still isn't working. This city clerk link still isn't working.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go to the she put it in the Facebook page, which, like I said, Marianne Williams is dropping some gems in the face on Friends of
Man,
First Guy Omaha.
make sure you check out Friends of First Guy Omaha on Facebook if you're not already a part of that. There are a lot of links, a lot of conversation happening there as well. It's a good way to
Please,
continue the conversation.
please do. So basically, she put in the actual document that Todd Schmatter signed. Honorable President and members of the City Council transmitted here within a resolution authorizing payment to Linco Industries Inc. in the amount of $341,678 for a Linco Bearcat G3 armored vehicle for the Omaha Police Department Emergency Response Unit. Picture of this thing. I should. That's what I should have did was grab the picture of this thing. I'm gonna
Yeah,
grab it.
I'm already on it, bro. I'm already on it.
I'm gonna grab it right now. The tank, because this doesn't quite look like. I mean, what kind
Is
of
that a
unit? What
is
kind of
that
unit?
a turn on top?
$300,000 unit. And they're calling it the Omaha Police Department Emergency Response Unit. So yeah, with that, Josh is it's not actually a tank like the headlines say, but it's a silly, oversized Tonka toy. The council better not approve. I almost want to put a pool together here. Who wants to bet they gonna approve this? $5 fight. No, I'm just playing. We ain't doing no betting on here.
Uh,
Marianne Williams says it's not really a tank; it's an armored vehicle. Yeah, armored
yeah, yeah. I
vehicle
mean, yeah.
response unit. Um, Lincoln Industries is the sole source vendor and a firm qualified to provide this equipment in accord with the previous of Section 516 of the Home Rule Charter, which now I need to read that. When there is a sole source vendor, the city council may, by resolution, authorize the payment for the items. The funds will be paid from the Omaha Police Department year 2022 General Fund, Emergency Response Unit, Vehicle Equipment Large. The police department requests your consideration and approval of this resolution. So the following the money is coming from the police budget, which is
Like 80% of the city budget.
exactly. Exactly. So, and when when people talk about, I know personally that when people talking about defund the police, they're talking
Oh,
more
yes.
about this kind of mess. Not you messing with policemen's paychecks and stuff, but this kind of mess. One thing I've learned talking to some of the law enforcement and stuff that we've talked to on this show is there probably is a need for more police officers, and that's a long. I came a long way around to be able to say that.
Hmm.
I've had a,
Hmm.
I've listened to Brother Gonzalez. I listened to a few people in law enforcement, and now I kind of tend to believe a little bit that if there's going to be any prevention of crime, then more police officers being hired on to be able to have beats again, patrol areas, get to know their area, and so on might be the answer. Armored trucks, I don't
Nah,
think is.
nah.
Another helicopter? No. That's how I'm feeling about this. So yeah. So anyway, we'll continue to talk about this. It is about 7:47 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we have a special guest that's coming on. Should be waiting in the wings. We'll take a quick break and we'll come right back. And keep your thoughts in mind on this because we still have a lot to talk about it. But stay tuned. Like I said, we'll be right back with our special guest in the house. And you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B. What happened? What happened to you in the morning?
I'm sorry. In the morning.
Paul B. Buddy the guy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all.
Look at my stories. I'm sorry.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's a good time to follow us on Twitter. Now that Elon Musk went ahead and bought it, we'll see what kind of shenanigans is going to happen on it now.
Tweet, 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 tweet.
We are going on live on Twitter as well. If that's your jam, definitely check us out over there. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God, all of you, the chat chimers, and also our very special guest that's coming in this morning from Opera Omaha, Andrea Joy Pearson. How are you this morning?
Hey.
Hi. I'm so well, so glad to be here. And I tell you, I came right at the perfect time, as it was said, if you believe in the concept of time. I said, okay, now this is the show for me to be on. So I'm very happy to be here.
Welcome. No time like a now. That's
Right.
what
There's nothing like the now.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
That's all we got.
Well, very nice to meet you finally, and thanks for coming on the show and talk a little bit about what's going on with you. First of all, we'll say hi. This show's a little different because we have what we call the chat chimers in here on the side, and they're
Okay.
very much a part of this conversation as we are having the conversation. It's really a discussion show instead of a talking heads thing going on. So, anybody has any questions for her in the chat, let us know. Of course, she's from Omaha. We're gonna be talking about the life and times of Malcolm X.
Hey.
I'm so happy that you guys have decided to put this thing together. And the more I learned about it, the more I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be too good. I can't even wait.
Good.
So first,
Too
first
good.
and foremost, let us know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
Who are you, Miss Pearson?
Sure, sure thing. Well, okay. Well, if we're going to talk about me as a person, let's talk about that first and foremost.
Okay.
I am someone who purposefully is creating space for myself and others for us to walk in our power and utilize our space to create lives that we enjoy. I am extremely fortunate that I get to walk in my passion and purpose in my work. And at Opera Omaha, I am the director of belonging and inclusion. And I'm also the creative director there of a container called Amplifying the Black Experience.
Love it. I love it.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And definitely love to see more from you, and excited to see this Malcolm X thing. How long have you been there?
I have been with Opera Omaha since last September. So I
Okay.
just hit my year not too long ago. I moved to Omaha in October. So I literally just hit my year in Omaha, Nebraska. It's right here. We are here
Okay.
right now.
Where you from?
I'm from just outside of Atlanta.
Hey,
Yes.
I'm in Lawrenceville right now.
Hold on, I'm coming back for in November around the Thanksgiving time. So
Okay.
feel free. Let's link up. Okay.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Fantastic. You know, it was a big decision to come to Omaha, Nebraska, and I came here for positive and impactful change. I came here. I have a background as an opera singer. I have a background in diversity, equity, inclusion. I have a background in human resources. And so it's like with all of these powers combined, what does it look like to create spaces in opera that's historically not been a space for, been a space that everyone feels that they belong, been a space that all voices are uplifted, and been a space that everyone can be a part of the creative process. And so it's been very exciting to be here with Opera Omaha as we're doing a show about the life and times of Malcolm X. And it really is the life and times. That's not just in name only. It really walks you through Malcolm X's life from childhood all the way through the untimely death and assassination. I mean, it really gives you the story. And I feel like for me, it really does encapsulate the three things that I personally think about and connect to with Malcolm X's life and legacy and promotion of what the activation of change that was put in the space, which is self-love, self-determination, and empowerment. All the other stuff is a lot of fluff that was there. We know his life was just completely just wrapped in propaganda. And I feel that this opera really is a great example of really seeing what his life was about, how he was someone who went through so much change and transformation. You go through the different name changes, you see what are the things that are the catalyst that causes those changes. What is it that was the important moments that created movement? It's very ravishing. It's very ravishing, and it's an opera that is for people who have maybe never experienced opera. It is that kind of opera. I would say it is a perfect entry point in, and it is also a perfect. Now I don't use the word perfect a lot because life, how much stuff is really perfect? Everything is imperfect and perfect, right? It really is a beautiful way to see a story on the stage because there's something about opera that almost no other space, encapsulates the same way. And that is, I personally call it budget art. So I think it's very funny that people think of opera as the space that is very affluent. And it's true in its history that really has been the case. But the reason I call it budget art is because you pay for one ticket. And you get to see a multitude of shows. You get to see a show that is a singing performance show. You get an orchestral symphony show. You're getting a dancing show. You will honestly feel like you have gone to an Alvin Ailey show in the middle of watching this, right? You're getting a light show. You're getting a visual design and set show. I mean, you're getting it all at one time in your face for one ticket, one price.
Wow.
There you go. I'm sold.
Hey, come on. I
Yeah,
look forward to seeing
that's definitely, man. A few people already have tickets though, so shout out to the chat chimers that's already tapped in. It's kind of how we started this show, is asking our audience who has gone to an opera. How familiar are we with opera? So it's nice to know that this is the type of event that can be introductory for someone.
Absolutely, you don't need to know anything to walk in.
Man, that's beautiful.
You don't need to know anything to walk in and have a beautiful time. And what's really something that speaks so special to my heart is I am very interested and galvanized about the creation of American opera today. And what does American opera today really look like? And Malcolm X is a great example of that. But what's really funny about it is it actually premiered in 1986. Anthony Davis put this out in 1986, and it sat for over 30 years because these were not the kind of conversations that I think people were really ready to have. And it's really interesting once you see the show that it's not something that's really necessarily pushing buttons. It's really showing what his life was about, and yet people still weren't ready for the conversation. But now we are, to say, what does it look like when we have stories that are from people who are from here, when we have sounds that are American sounds? There's a lot of jazz in this opera. Right. There is a lot of jazz in this opera, right? And that's an American sound.
Right.
And so what does opera look like today if it feels like it's historical, right? You're getting a history lesson in the middle of this. It's like, you don't need to turn to the Discovery Channel on November 4th and 6th. Come on down to the Orpheum Theater and learn something about your hometown. Malcolm X is from here and just got voted in to be inducted into the Nebraska Hall of Fame.
Man, I actually want to ask you about that, and the fact that you're from Atlanta is perfect. Here goes that word again, but it is perfect for this conversation because you've seen Sweet Auburn, you've seen how Atlanta treats Martin's legacy, Martin's story, and now seeing that juxtaposed between how Omaha treats Malcolm's story, and you're talking about being ready for the conversation. I want to hear your thoughts at being a part of putting that conversation in the forefront in Omaha and helping Omaha. I mean, you seen Sweet Auburn. It's crazy that how Malcolm X is being treated. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, actually, it's shocking. It's shocking. And it's a big catalyst of why I am here, right? I am someone who is very, very passionate about civil rights, someone who's very passionate about human rights. And in that, it's like, in Atlanta, and just in general, Martin Luther King gets a lot of praise. And for this to be Malcolm X's hometown, and you will honestly, it feels like find people here who do not even really know that Malcolm X is from here. Because the legacy and the history has not been celebrated. It has not fully been accepted. It has not fully, been enveloped by the community to say, this is ours. This is something we should be proud of. And this is something we should figure out how to move forward. Because you will see, if you come to Omaha, Nebraska, it is one of the most segregated cities in the country to this day.
Yep.
Really?
I'm telling you, man.
I was shocked at how severe.
Same. I'm from California, and that's my first year here. I said the same thing. It's the most segregated place I ever lived.
Yep. I mean,
and you coming from down south saying that? That's crazy.
Yes, and so it was big. There was a lot of shocks to me that I wasn't expecting because I come from the South. I understand the landscape of things, right? And you get here, it's a different ball game, and it's been so exciting to be a part of putting on a work like this to celebrate and amplify and uplift the legacy of this great man because it's not talked about enough. And it's certainly not something that has just been a part of the canon for opera. And in that space, to say, what does that look like when we are really the ones leading conversations? We are the ones helping move that. And just recently, you heard me say he was inducted into the Nebraska Hall of Fame. This is the first Black person inducted into the Nebraska Hall of Fame ever.
I know
And
that.
yeah, the Malcolm X Foundation. Let's put a pause real quick. The Malcolm X Foundation, and Joanna Ejike is the executive director there, and Leo Lewis is the president of the board there. And we have just been so honored to have them be a part of our process, to have them partner with us in the space. They have been pushing forward Malcolm X's legacy for decades at this point, and it's really exciting to know that they've been doing the work, and then you get somebody that comes in to help you do the work, right? It's always good when community can come together, and there was, the more recent effort to get him inducted into the Nebraska Hall of Fame, but it's really important to know this wasn't the first time that there was an effort to get him in the Nebraska Hall of Fame, right? The work goes. People see the end result, and sometimes they can forget what came before that, right? But this has been an effort that's been going on for decades to try to get this across, and it's very exciting that it was successful this time. I feel very excited, very honored that I got to testify in the hearing for it, to speak to how Malcolm X's life has impacted me, to speak how Malcolm X's life is impacting the world, and to speak to how Malcolm X's life is impacting an art form that is actually rather slow to change, slow to move forward. And if we can have the conversation, if we can amplify, if we can do the work, everyone else really can too.
I love it. I want to jump in real quick and just say I love everything that you're saying and you're talking about right now. Just to let you know, we are our show started with a radio station over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation called Mind and Soul. So we worked with Leo and Joanna for years over there, and it's just beautiful. And now I'm the director of communications over at the Benson Theater, and so it's like all now we're getting mixed up with Opera Omaha. I love it when the plan comes together and when the talent and the friends and the organizations come together. So it's been a beautiful thing. If you guys are just joining us right now, we're with Andrea Joy Pearson. She is my new favorite person, and she is from Opera Omaha. And it is 8:02 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I just want to make a comment on the diversity that's going on here. How much representation matters, because I wouldn't even have thought nothing about what was going on with the opera until I heard
Malcolm
they
X.
were going to do this play. And look at the faces behind the talent of this play.
Man,
And the history. I want to ask you a little bit about. You said this play got written back in the 80s and it's sat on the shelf. So a little bit of story about some of the work and some of the stuff that it took to get to now, or some of the history of what happened then on how this came about, if you know any of it. But I'm just for a quick second, just like look at and see like the diversity of these faces. You would never guess that these are the people that were behind what's going on at the opera right now. Just from what people think about what the opera is, and so there's things that are changing, and how important this representation is just driving me crazy. Like, how important is this?
It's huge.
Now the doors are open for us to walk in, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely humongous, right? That and like that image. Can you put it up maybe one more time
Absolutely.
for me? That image is what it's all about, right? Diversifying the canon, diversifying the stories that we're telling, and diversifying who's at the helm of telling these stories. So you see here, Anthony Davis is the composer. Talani Davis is the librettist, and Christopher Davis is the story artist. I was fortunate enough to actually do an interview a couple of days ago with Anthony Davis, and let me tell you, it was a highlight for sure, because as you heard me saying, it's about what does American opera look like, and to know that he's one of the fathers of really, I feel like, establishing that space in American opera it was so exciting to be next to him, to be standing with him. And he said a little bit about how this came to be and how they even ended up working on creating X, the Life and Times of Malcolm X, because you'll notice that the last names of these three people are all Davis. They are all actually family. Right? Wow. Anthony and Christopher are brothers, and Talani is their cousin. And in this, Anthony said, because he was asked, how did this kind of come about? How did y'all decide to do this? He said that his brother was playing in Malcolm X in a play and said, hey, you should think about turning this into a musical, turning it into something. And so they then got together from that point and created it back in 85-ish. Right. I can assume that maybe it started a little bit before in 84 to get it ready, because sometimes it can take a little bit of time to build operas. But, you're dealing with prolific artists. So who knows? They could have done this in a couple of days. Right. What is time? Right. And so, but in that, I think he said about 85-ish is really how it came to be in that space. And the idea that it was just too controversial. He said it actually did well in its first run. But it was just a little bit too controversial, and that opera companies didn't really want to touch it, and that's why it sat. And there has been this big catalyst of change that happened in opera in the last couple of years, and a lot of that happened in 2020. A lot of that happened with the Black Lives Matter movement, and a lot of that happened particularly with George Floyd's murder. Mm-hmm. There was something that happened in the hearts and minds of even a space that had seen itself, maybe not in theory, but in practice, had been quite untouchable to really changing and to really adding more representation. And there was a moment that said, we have to create change. And in fact, there was a demanding of change. And there were a multitude of groups that came out pronouncing that they expected change. A couple of these groups are the Black Administrators of Opera, the Asian Opera Alliance, and you have the Latin Women in Opera, Latino women in opera, right? And so some of these groups put out very strong statements saying that there has to be change, and including the Black Administrators of Opera. I don't want to leave them off either. And in that, the Black Opera Alliance put out a pledge demanding a certain level of changes that were happening in representation all throughout our field, and had people sign on to this at different companies saying that they would create space for these changes that were being requested. And we were one of the companies that signed on for this, to say that we are actively moving and creating and shaping change. And Malcolm X, this turnaround is not just us doing it in isolation by ourselves. It's a part of a consortium group that actually is doing it together. And so it's like error all over the country, right? Over the next couple of years. Detroit Opera Theater did it before. We're doing it now on November 4th and 6th. And then it's also going to the Chicago Lyric, and then it's going to Seattle Opera, and then it's going to culminate at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is it getting its time. This is like it's powerful. It's moving, and I can almost assure you that if you come to this show, you will be changed.
Oh, man, I'm changed already. I can definitely hear it. Like I said, you guys have been doing the Opera in Conversation over at the Benson Theater, which, by the way, there's another one coming up this Tuesday.
I think it's going to be next Tuesday. I think possibly the 8th, November 8th. It's going to be after the opera. So what's a little bit different about the Opera and Conversations, shout out to Lauren Medici, been doing a fantastic job of putting on these really robust conversations around themes that are in different operas that we have. And in this particular one, it's around Malcolm X. And so this last conversation was really about like some of the Black history in Omaha. And there was so much that I learned in that space. And it was just such a reminder that these Opera and Conversations are really, really special moments. The one that's going to be happening on November 8th is rather different, because it's after the show, after you've seen the work. What are your responses to that work? What were your thoughts throughout that experience, right? And so the other one is focused on themes. This one is focused on really more, what's your reaction? What's your takeaway from this piece that you were able to engage with? And it deals with a lot of the creatives and artists. And it'll be a chance even for the audience, right? Even for the audience to say, how did this work move you, change you in the space? What was the experience like for you? This is your time to have a talk back.
Yeah. Right. I was going to ask what you wanted, the audience to kind of walk away from this, but I actually don't want you to answer that question, because we have people that's planning to go, and I don't want your answer to kind of influence, definitely if you're going to have that talk. I
Well,
kind of want that to be.
can I say something? Can I
Yeah,
say
yeah,
something?
go
Now,
ahead, go ahead,
now
go
you've opened the floor for it. Well,
ahead.
what I will say is you may walk in expecting that you know Malcolm X's life and you have an opinion about it one way or the other. And what I would say is be ready and willing to let your mind be open and to take in the information in the experience. And in that, by the time you walk out, something about your perspective will be different.
Hey, you think you know, but you have no
Yeah,
idea.
exactly. Ooh, you think you know, but you have no idea.
No, no. Let's go to the chat.
That's
A few
dope.
questions. Paul, you
Yeah,
got any
there was one question. Sean McCarthy's asking what got you into opera.
general?
Uh, you in general, right? And then I want to share some things that I learned from opera and from the conversation a little later on. So don't let me forget that because I will because I'm tired this morning. So you let, let us know how what got you in opera in the first place.
Sure. So my friend actually invited me to come out to the Atlanta Opera. I got into opera rather late because I was about 17, 18 at the time. But she invited me to the Atlanta Opera and said, if we go and volunteer and we greet people at the door, we'll get to like run in right before the show for free. And so, I like a good deal of steal. Okay. So I was like, that sounds like a great time. I like art, I like culture. And so we went and they just happened to be putting on a production of Porgy and Bess. And if you don't know, Porgy and Bess is easily the most popular, predominantly Black performed opera in America.
Right.
Just in general, in the canon, right? And all together. And so, as this being my first time, it's that real example of representation matters because I sat there when I was watching the show and I was like, this is really cool. And then I thought, is this a thing? Is this like a thing? Because I can make my voice sound like this. I sound like this when I'm loading the dishwasher. Is this like a thing that people do? Ow. Okay. And so then from there, I jumped in late, but I was really good because I really could. My voice really did sound like this in real time, and so I excelled very fast. I excelled very fast. Got into some really great spaces and places, and got on full scholarships, and it was won competitions, and then was out working, and so it was a fun ride, right? It was a fun ride. I think what's important to also note is why I got out of opera. And why I got out of opera is because I felt like it was not a space that was uplifting to me, where I could be myself, where all of me was enough, and where all of me could be expressed. I felt extremely boxed in a lot of ways, and I didn't feel that the field was really ready to be a comfortable space for more people. And that's why I'm back saying, let's try this all over again with some new information, new mindset, new skill sets, and see if I can help be a part of the positive change for a space that I have so much love for, that I know how it can really impact somebody to change the trajectory of their life, just like that, lickety splat.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. That's a powerful testimony. I really, really appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
That's very awesome. I'm sitting here. I was sitting here thinking the whole time you were talking. I was like, you didn't. This show is a couple of musicians here, and I know Buddy is hearing what I'm hearing. We can hear it in your speaking voice how good your voice is.
My early morning raspy speaking voice. Can you hear it? I mean, I can sing. I'm not going to front with you. Okay, I'm absolutely not going to front with you.
I'm almost about to grab my trumpet the way you tooting over here, but I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it.
This is very true. Like I know that my pops is a singer as well, a professional singer, and I know he heard it. Everybody heard it. Everybody can hear it in your voice. Who knows what real singing is? They can hear it in your voice for real. Singing,
well,
you be singing.
There's so much talent. Ooh, here's the thing. There is so much talent in the operatic field, particularly for the singers. And it's so exciting to have more opportunities and possibilities for these fantastic singers to get on stage and perform in stories that they feel like represent them. Because you perform a different way, I think, when you feel like you're representing you and you're being the representation that matters in real time.
That's right.
Mhm.
And it's so exciting. I mean, the talent is just top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier. Top tier.
Let me tell you the first opera and conversation that happened over at Benson Theater. I was there doing the live stream for it, and I was listening to what was going on there. And so we've been thinking about the opera being something where you're going to have opera singers come
Mhm.
and sing. Was not thinking about it in terms of you have a choreographer and there's dance in this. Was not thinking about the fact that you will have characters in it like Ella Fitzgerald. That's going to be,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't thinking about any of these things until I saw that, and it's just as you say, you buy one ticket and basically you're getting like 5 shows. The Omaha Symphony, who we got
Mhm.
people who work for the Omaha Symphony right here in the chat that are like that just told us
Shout
this
out
morning.
Omaha Symphony. We love
Right.
you.
They're gonna
Thank
be in the
you.
they're gonna be in the
Hey,
pit. They're gonna be in the pit rocking.
Straight
So, you
up.
know, it's something that's super incredible. I put the question out to everybody early on. Would you go see this? Would you go support this? Do you
Mhm.
think when you see a organization like Opera Omaha that's reaching this deep, they ain't just putting a couple token cats on here. They got the
man,
content is deep, the people behind the writing is deep, the people who's promoting and pushing this thing is diverse. They're doing some huge things here. So, and somebody said a little earlier, like we need to support this since we complain about not being heard.
there you
A
Go,
go.
hun- a
go
hundred
There you
support
percent.
us.
go.
100%. This is an opera for the people,
There
right?
you go.
I mean, it is rare that you could have an opera that is not only real, but is in the hometown of the individual that it is
Man,
about.
Come
And
man,
on.
it literally starts on the stage in Omaha, Nebraska. You are fully in Omaha, Nebraska. This man is from Omaha, Nebraska. His life was changed in Omaha, Nebraska when his father was murdered by the KKK. It
in
is in
Omaha,
the
Nebraska.
show in Omaha, Nebraska. This is your story. This is my story. This is our story. If you are in Omaha, you need to come out, show up, show out, and represent and see part of your story be told.
Take notes. It's going down. First Sky Omaha in the house. We got to get a group going.
That's
Everybody,
right. Come on.
everybody in the chat is chiming up, man. Kimber Snipe says, "I never been to an opera. I think this is gonna be your first one."
This is the
Same,
perfect time to come.
yeah, same
Mhm.
here. Says she loves hearing the sister speak. Loves hearing you speak. Appreciate that. Sean McCarthy said, "That's a hell of an answer. Thanks." Also, Margie Sturgeon is in the house. What's up, man? The Weatherized crew in the house. What's going
Hey,
down? She said
squad.
she heard it. Carolyn Jack says she's going. Pop says her first spoken syllable. I said to myself, "Sanger." I told you.
Mhm.
I
Singer.
told you. I told you. My pops heard it too. I know he heard it. Linda Chicago says she's a breath of fresh air over on YouTube. Appreciate you. Sean McCarthy said would definitely be interested in the first Sky road trip. Let's definitely talk about it, man. Let's get down. So,
Mm.
Let's definitely talk about it. Let's
we
definitely talk about it.
we obviously could have you here all day long, but we're gonna let you go here pretty soon. But ladies and gentlemen, the life and times of Malcolm X, it's going down the Opera Omaha. This is gonna be some of the first times that some of the first opera that some of us have been to ever, and we
Man,
are definitely going to come and support that. I can safely say that that's going to happen. What's the date for the actual opera?
Yeah, it's going to be on November 4th and November 6th. November 4th is at around 7:30, and November 6th is at 2 p.m. So you have an evening show and a matinee that's happening. And I want to be extremely crystal clear before I get off this line that I am not saying come to this opera just to try to push a ticket. Okay, I want to be extremely clear about that. I am saying this is something that you want to see. You don't know you want to see it maybe just yet because you haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen anything like it yet, but I have seen it. I got to be at Detroit Opera Theater for the premiere and my breath was taken away. And I have seen many an opera, and this was one of the best operas I have ever seen,
mm.
Wow.
ever, if not best. Outside of Porgy and Bess, I do love Porgy and Bess. It was brought me in. But outside of that, the best opera I have ever seen.
Oh, I love it. Can't wait.
You go.
I got no dates for November 4th at 7:30 and November 6th at 2 p.m. So that is going down. Orpheum Theater, y'all know where that's at. It's going down. I will definitely check it out. Carolyn Jackson, she's my new best friend in my head. I heard that.
Hey.
It don't have to be in your head. Let it be a reality. I'm here in Omaha,
Hey.
Nebraska. Come see about me.
There you go. There you go.
Yes, my new favorite person, Andrew Joy Pearson, y'all, is going down. Opera Omaha. Thank you so much for joining us and coming through and showing and sharing with us your passion about all of these things.
Oh yeah.
And you might not be in this opera, but we're gonna hear you sing at some point. You're gonna have to come
Oh,
on.
we can absolutely work this out. And in addition to this opera, I want to make sure I say this, that I'm also the creative director of Amplifying the Black Experience, where we are unboxing the operatic experience in unique and unexpected ways, focusing on Black stories and Black voices, utilizing Black creatives with an intentional focus on local creatives, showing just how wide, vast, and robust opera actually is. You think you know, but you have no idea. As a wise man once told me.
There you go. There you go. No, we
It's
definitely
here. We're here. So that's
Oh, yeah,
before
yeah,
the opera,
okay.
after the opera. Amplifying the Black Experience is here. You can find some of our works right now and get into some of this Black creativity and Black joy today. You don't have to wait till the 4th. Let that be a continuation. You can check us out on YouTube. Check out if there was 2 videos I would tell you to check out. Check out Here There Will Be. It's a visual poetry film by Sky Omaha. And the second is Feeling Black and Rejuvenated. These are local Black creatives.
That's what's up. We
All
definitely
right. So check us out. Check us out. Check us out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We will definitely have you back.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate being here. I look forward to coming back, and I'm also on the board of directors at Benson Theater. So I'm sure we need to have a sit down.
For real, for real.
We need to have you.
It's happening next. That's what's up. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Joy Pearson, thanks for coming. Peace.
Peace.
Wow, that was great.
Oh, that was yeah. How can you not be charged, amplified by that?
Bro, you're gonna have me out there clear. Figaro, you're gonna have me out there singing in a minute, sir. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll take a quick break and jump back into some topics. Thanks for everybody that chimed into the chat. And thanks for Andrew Joy Pearson, my new favorite person, coming on the show. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Going down. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God. Good time to check us out on Twitter. Now that Elon Musk done bought it, we're going to see all the shenanigans that's going on. Don't forget also as well, we just talked about the opera coming up. We'll definitely start talking to each other behind the scenes about some good times for us to all go maybe as a group and go check this out. And then don't forget Benson Theater, man. They came down and brought Brother Leo and Brother and Sister Joanna over, and Brother Muhammad, Chat Chimer, was on stage as well, getting down with us on that night. That night we had the talk for the opera and conversation situation. It was going down. That's happening again, and it's coming up after the show. It's called After the Curtain Call. So we'll definitely be looking forward to that and checking it out and having some discussion. I'm sure the chat chimers would love to come to this and chime up about what we saw when we went and did it. So let's definitely hook that up. I'm gonna go ahead and put this link in the chat there. What's that? That's the operaomaha.org. Yep.
Yeah, this is the Amplifying the Black Experience organization that she was explaining and kind of telling us about. Definitely go check out that website. You see a couple friends of already on there, Miss Jewel.
Know
what I'm saying? Come on,
whole family. That's what's up.
Come on, man. Come on, man. So yeah. We got my brother Aaron in there too. So yeah, man. Shout out to over Omaha and the diversity, man. Omaha just got a little bit cooler in my book.
Bro, somebody who in the chat? Lauren Lynette says never been excited about going to the opera before, but I will be there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Miss Erica Feld gives us a good morning. I'm glad I caught a bit of her. Yes, I'm glad you did too. Josh Take says, thanks for sharing your joy, Andrea.
Man,
Josh Take is the chat timer that is associated with the Omaha Symphony. So he's the one that let us know Symphony gonna be in the pit. Yeah, it's going down, man. We gonna get my suit jacket cleaned and come on through and see what's happening. And it's going down for sure. So I definitely check that out. We got that link in the chat. And there's my new best friend again there too. So that's what's up. Cameron Snipes says they need to just let her be the commercial for real
man. Turn on the
for the,
cameras and say go.
for the whole opera, for the whole situation. That's real. So they definitely chose the right person. I'm glad that we got a transplant in, and it sounds like she's right there around from where you're at right now. Like
Right round away. Right round
the,
away.
the Omaha Atlanta connection furthers itself again.
Man, no,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy how that's just naturally happening. There's a lot of fronts where there's an Omaha Atlanta connection, and I'm definitely glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to be, bringing it to the people.
That's real, man. That's real. It was I wasn't all the way excited about the move in the beginning. I was like, what are we gonna do?
How
But
we gonna make this happen?
I'm glad you made the jump because it really took us more on this national kind of wavelength and everything else. And then the cities, Atlanta and Omaha, are very similar in so many different ways, and we can learn so much from how they're doing things there, and so on. So I mean, there's a lot, man. That connection there is strong, and I'm with it. So I love it. So I'm all about it. Thanks for joining us again. We really appreciate it. We got about maybe 35 minutes left in the show. If you believe in the concept of time, that is 8:26 right now in Omaha, Nebraska. Heard it's going to be a nice day, 60, 70 degrees out here today, which is weird because it's been like 30, 40 at night. And, it's been a little cool. I thought it was going to stay cool, but Omaha be drunk. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes they don't know what it wants to do ever. So I'll enjoy the day while we have one of the good 15 days we have in Nebraska. I'll take it. Anybody else that wants to chime in on that? I can see everybody's kind of chomping at the bit really about going to the show. Definitely want to check that out. And we're definitely going to have her back or in the studio or something because her voice is off the chain.
Yeah.
And we got to hear what's happening. Like I said, they're going to have me in here clearing my voice, getting on the mic. Oh, she's still in the chat. Thank you so much for having me. Really look forward to connecting. Absolutely. Really look forward to
Yes.
connecting with you. I thought I saw your name somewhere else. Now I realize it's on the board of the Benson Theater. So
Hey,
where have I seen this name before? I keep on seeing this name. So it's good to put a face to the name and a personality to the city now. She
man.
can be repping the city. Omaha. It is for everyone. Listen to what Joy Pearson has to say about that. Yes. So yeah, really appreciate that. We'll definitely jump into some more things and we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, we're gonna be friends for sure. I'm with it, man. I'm with it. Like I love it. I say this thing often. I love it when the partners come together.
Man.
That's what we're
Full
here
circle.
to do. We're not here to compete with anybody. We're here to collaborate with the people, with the like-minded people, and really kind of bolster the city and do what it does. So I'm happy. I'm happy that we got a new ally in the form of this young lady, but also Opera Omaha, man. Opera
Man,
Omaha stepped up.
getting down.
It stepped up. This should be national news. Think about the places that she said this play is going, and
Mhm.
and Omaha is one of them. That's insane. That's incredible. So this is huge, huge, huge. So be looking in your local newspapers and your local TV stations to see if they have something to say about it.
Man. And
Because
if they don't, we did.
right, exactamundo. With that said, we'll go ahead and jump into some other stuff. We got the extensive haps coming up later on. So get your haps together. What you think we
Yeah.
should be looking at and doing this coming up. It is Friday, so we try to spend a little bit more time talking about the good stuff going on this weekend. So get your haps together and stay with us and let us know about that's happening in the last 15 minutes of the show. In the meantime, between time, Mr. Eric Phelps is celebrating and promoting greatness. This is why I like it here. Hey, thank you.
Hey.
Appreciate that very much. So, buddy, what else is on the agenda for the afternoon or for the? See, look how tired I am. It's already afternoon.
Man, get it together. He
Tired.
tired, boss. He
Oh,
tired.
boss, he tired.
He tired.
Woo.
Yeah, man. Let's kind of wrap things up. We definitely want to spend some time extensively for the haps. Let us know what's going on in your world. Feel free to drop that into the chat. Let us know what's going on out there. But yeah, before we get out of here, really quickly, let's wrap up our election conversation a little bit with this story from Channel 3 News, kind of talking about looking deeper at negative campaign ads happening. Again, the campaign season is upon us. Today is actually the last day to register in person at your election office and to request an early ballot to be mailed to you. So if you don't want to deal with the lines and things like that at your polling precinct, so definitely, go ahead and ask for that absentee ballot, make things easier. You can research the candidates and all that good stuff from the comfort of your home. But while you are at home, please be wary of the negative ads that might pop up on your TV. Again, apparently there's been some zingers. I mean, we've all seen it, man. We've all seen it going back and forth. Big shout out to Channel 3 though, kind of dispelling some of the jabs and darts that have been thrown at Tony Vargas. Put some respect on his name. Shout out to them for that. But we just wanted to lay it out. I'm not even gonna really even read too much from the article. Just let the people know, man. Please pay attention to what's important. Please pay attention to the issues, the ballot initiatives that's going out. Don't fall for the okie doke, for the shenanigans.
Yeah, no need to do that. Yeah, it's too bad. I was hoping you were going to read a little bit about some of the stuff they were trying to pull on somebody, but
I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have seen the ads, but I mean, we can a little bit, of course. The interesting part about this, I will say this, is that where these ads are coming from. A lot of these ads are actually coming from third-party groups. There will be disclaimers on some of them that no candidates themselves have authorized ads, although Bacon himself did pay for a couple of ads that were shots towards Vargas. One was funded entirely by his campaign, another funded by the Grand Old Party National Republican Congressional Committee. But again, a lot of the ads that are buying ads, a lot of the organizations buying ads against Vargas include an NRCC, the Congressional Leadership Fund, and Defending Main Street, which is quite interesting. And of course, there's been negative shots saying that Vargas wants to release violent prisoners and he's against tougher penalties for drug dealers. And this is just the whole Grand Old Party script. I mean, I don't feel like we know the Grand Old Party script by now.
Yeah, very true. I think I just wanted to mention it because I thought it was interesting that they were kind of breaking down a couple of things about Tony Vargas that was not true.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, we're kind of speaking to the people the like-minded people here who already can look past a little bit of this mess and not get so caught up in the propaganda and so on. As a matter of fact, most of the people that I'm around always are laughing when you get these weird commercials.
Man, how's it not laughable?
Yeah, it's really a trip. Sean McCarthy in the chat says the common negative ad I see is Tony Vargas voted to double his salary, which sounds bad until you hear that the salary is only $12,000. If state senator salaries were actually closer to an actual salary, more people could run for those offices instead of mainly wealthy individuals who can work for a salary that low.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it wasn't just that he was trying to up his salary; he was trying to up all senators' salaries.
Not just him, not just him.
Yeah, this was how they word certain things. So, like I said, here we are. A chat chimer, of course, is already reading between the lines, seeing the lies behind it, understanding what's happening. These I still haven't found that crackhead ad.
Call a crackhead.
Bro, these ads are out of control. I can't believe they're spending millions of dollars on stuff like this. Is incredible.
I'm down here in Georgia, man. I'm seeing it firsthand. It's getting kind of crazy, man. There was a Governor Kemp, Brian Kemp. There's an ad with him pointing a shotgun at a kid.
What?
Yes, there's an ad with Brian Kemp pointing a shotgun at a young brother. And he was asked about it. They had a recent Black Hall where all the black media, the Ryan Camerons and everybody down here as far as black media, they had a town hall and he was asked about that, and he was just he tried to shuck and jive around the question, like, I'm a father and I will want to protect my daughter and this, that, and the third. But that's really that's it though. You know what I'm saying? The whole fear mongering, like boogeyman mentality that's out there, and that's really the deeper part of it. You know what I mean? It's always they're trying to take this away and they're trying to do this, and there's always so much to be afraid of. You know what I mean? And it's just quite interesting when you see it and how it manifests. You know, in the buying tanks. And you know, we're going to get into it here in a second, but what's going on in education? You know, it's kind of crazy.
Bro, listen, we gonna do. I gotta do it. We gotta do it.
What you got? What you got?
I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to show you this mess because it's the most incredible thing. This is in Louisiana. I'll just preface it by saying that this is Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Listen to this mess.
Ah. Can't hear it.
Oh, it's not playing the sound.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Okay. Okay, that's too bad. I don't know if I can get the sound on on this right now. Man, I thought the sound was playing.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it. Yeah, I don't think anybody else can hear it. We'll have to.
No, I can't. I can't.
But dude, you got to see this thing. It's one of the most incredible things I've ever encountered anybody putting out. He basically says, if you don't like the police, then next time you're in trouble, call a crackhead. Breakfast Club gave him Donkey of the Day for this. It's one of the epitomes of
Yeah.
of this kind of ad stuff that we're talking about here. It's entertaining at this point. We don't even keep talking about it. It's like entertainment value now to see what the craziness that these people are coming up with. Man, it's ridiculous.
But on a serious note, like they really mean this stuff. Like they really believe some of this stuff and really mean it and really are pushing this. And even if they don't believe it, it's somebody out there who will vote for them. And this is just crazy.
Insane. It's insane.
It's crazy.
I don't even think the people that would vote for them, are not even believing this mess. They're just gonna vote the way they're gonna vote. Like they're probably treating it like entertainment too. But but of course there's a huge percentage of the population that actually believes this crap too. Like that's the scary part. Sean McCarthy says, as if those are your only two choices: an armed police officer or a crackhead, nothing in between.
No gray area.
I wish I gotta figure out how to get these videos to play because it's incredible. It's like I can't even believe it sometimes what's going on. But anyway, moving on from that, 8:37 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, yeah, just be aware that this mess is out here, and you got people around you that believe it, and just laugh at them as soon as they bring it up. Moving on. What else we got on the agenda before we get to the naps?
Weed's gonna kill the kids.
You can make a video montage of all the ridiculous.
Hey, we do. But again, man, it's serious. And there are people who really believe this stuff and are mobilizing on this stuff. And we see that majority in our school board races across the country and across the state. You know, the school board has kind of been ground zero for this type of activity. And the Pew Research Center just released a new study. Paul, your favorite word?
Another study.
Yeah, man. And I definitely wanted to ask. I did want to bring this conversation to the chat chimers, especially those of you who have children in school, talking K through 12. The headline reads, parents differ sharply, but party over what their K through 12 children should learn in school. Of course, we've talked extensively. Shout out to our partners over at Flatwater Free Press for releasing an article at what's going on in some of the rural areas of Nebraska and their school board meetings and things like that. And again, there is a belief across Nebraska that the children are being indoctrinated with and taught, sexual things and being sexualized earlier than they should be. Of course, there is a whole standoff and situation with the change, or should I say attempted change in the state sexual education standards to be more inclusive for those who might consider themselves a part of the LGBTQ plus community, and that fell on its face. And it was kind of shady and very shisty how that whole situation played out. Kind of decisions being made behind closed doors. Again, the influences coming from the crevices of Nebraska politics, if you will.
Mm.
But according to this Pew Research, and as the midterm election approaches, issues related to K through 12 schools have become deeply polarized. So again, we aren't the only ones seeing this. This is an actual fact. Republican and Democratic parents of K through 12 students have widely different views on what their children should learn at school about gender identity, slavery, and other topics, according to a new Pew Research survey. Of course, according to the survey, percentage 44% of Republican-leaning people believe that there's not enough influence from parents in the school, while of course 19% believe that there's too much influence from Democratic leaning parents. Also, the local school board representatives on a Republican lean, believes that there's too much influence from the school board, while Democrats believe that there's not enough influence from the school board. So this whole battle over who controls the schools, who has say, is it your school board officials who we do elect? Again, this is an elected position through the democratic process, or should the parents control the school board? And we kind of talked about some of the things that parents are believing and saying and pushing. But again, I want to ask those who have children, are you happy with what your kids are learning? Are you concerned about what your kids are learning? Are you aware of what your children are learning in school? What are your thoughts on this as parents? So I wanted to bring that to you.
That's a good question. I'd definitely love to hear people's answers on that. And also, I have a question about, um, are you nervous about what people? What were you gonna say?
Nothing. And I'm in the chat about the Gary Chambers, because there's a connect. We met some people connected to Gary Chambers when we went out to California for that trip.
Oh,
Yeah. This is it's completely. We can talk about it later.
okay. Well, no, I was just gonna add to the questions. Are you nervous about what these opponents of stuff like critical race theory and stuff are saying about what your kids are learning? The vitriol that they have for anything diverse. The stuff that they're saying they need to control the school system for because of, like, is any of that stuff concerning you as far as if your kids are going to school and they're having to deal with teachers or administrators or people that are, or even politicians, that are trying to come in here and change things up? Does that make you nervous? So a few questions out there to hear about your experiences with kids. Um, I definitely want to come back to that thing that you were talking about here with Gary Chambers. But before we do that, there was here's some of the stuff that's
It actually, if you look around the country, they do have programs, unfortunately, where they will take a student, look at their race, say, okay, you're white, you're an oppressor. If you're black, you're oppressed. And think about what that does to a 6 or 7-year-old kid. That's wrong. You're seeing that. You have people that are teaching, and actually his running mate has said this in the past, that teaching the United States was built on stolen land. That is inappropriate for our schools. It's not true. And I'm happy that it actually, if you look around the country, they do have programs, unfortunately.
So you can kind of see, some of this ridiculousness that they're actually spewing out here during debates, or even having crowds chime up. Like, are you crazy? Like, what
And
is?
I want to connect that to something, because this is, again, that's Ron DeSantis. That's the governor of where? Florida. Where was Ben Sass going? Florida. Who's going to have to vote for Ben Sass's job? The Board of Trustees at the University of Florida and the Board of Governors for Florida. So again, you see how the chess is being played as far as these politicians having these mentalities and who they're recruiting to run the school. So to answer your question, are we concerned? Am I concerned? Yes. My son's in public school. I have 2 daughters that will probably end up in public school because I work. Am I concerned? Yes. For other kids, I'll say that, because my children, we even though they are, in school, we still do lessons at home. And they're still mostly cultural. I am a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I make sure my children go to Sunday school every Sunday.
Mm.
And again, if you're not familiar with the Moorish sign, it is definitely a cultural, political, religious organization.
Mm-hmm. So would they say that you were indoctrinating your kids with that? Is that
I mean, when you put it like that, who isn't?
Good questions, man. Good questions. I mean, right off the top of my head, the parents are supposed to be the ones that are teaching the kids what it is.
As the father, is it not my job to raise my child?
Right. Miss Erica Felt in the chat says, so far I've been fine with it. I'm also fine with including LGBTQIA plus education depending on how it's done, just like it mattered to me how any sex education was done and what's included.
Yeah, there's levels.
That's reasonable. Right. Kimmer Snipe says school board members get paid zero money. So going back to this idea of following the money, going back to the idea that it's not enough money to spend your time. You have to be somebody of means, really, since you're going to be spending your time on a board that doesn't pay you. Then you have to be somebody of means. So what does that mean for the diversity of the school board as well? Same thing, senators get paid $12,000 a year. Same premise. Marianne Williams says they have to take over universities too because they determine college prep courses in K to 12. Forgot. I wouldn't even think about that. Good point. Wow.
Well, and to that point, again, you look at the dominoes that's being and it's a national thing. Like, look at it. Look at how the relationships. You know that Ricketts, DeSantis, and the governor of Texas. They talk. You know that they talk. You know that they're all a part of the Republican Party. We always talk about the Republican agenda. Look at the chess plays. So DeSantis and the Board of Governors in Florida vote SAS into as a board of university. So now you got SAS. Now you have control of that whole hierarchy from the governor's office down to the university level in Florida. What does that mean for Nebraska? Illen becomes governor. Ricketts takes over his seat, and together they put in who they want for the University of Nebraska. So the same play gets played in Nebraska. Come on, I'm not the only one that see this.
So there's one hole in your theory, though.
What's that?
Carol Blood is going to be the next governor. So,
thank you. Foiled the plan.
She's foiled the plan. Foiled again. Meddling kids.
New blood.
Carolyn Jack says, my great nieces are in kindergarten and third grade. Some of the things being said and questioned as you can tell what's being said at home. We better teach our kids who they are. Man, knowledge of self. Aries 402 says, theory versus tactical teachings. There needs to be a balance of both. I don't need to know how to read and write to be prosperous. Interesting viewpoint. Okay. Carolyn, let's see. What we missed Brother Muhammad? Where did Brother Muhammad speak at? Did miss his comment? Brother Muhammad, we don't see you in the chat. This might be another one of them situations that Erica Felt was talking about. You come in, put your name in a certain way or something, you're not being seen. So we apologize for that. But it looks like Carolyn Jack says, Brother Muhammad, truth. Brother Muhammad, we've been missing your comments. Carolyn Jack, if you wouldn't mind saying what he was speaking the truth of, maybe that'll help us out. Sean McCarthy says, and the fact that critical race theory has been in the curriculum for decades with no blowback shows that it's the fear tactic of choice for this election cycle. Gay marriage fear in 2014, CRT fear in 2022. Kimber Snipe says the South is ridiculous. Last time I was in Texas, the only thing I saw on the sign for people running for governor were deport or illegals, and I'm a real Republican. Wow. Earl Spurs says, do not need to be taught how to be compassionate to people and earth. Yeah, isn't it crazy how they don't think people need to be taught this stuff?
Yeah.
Marianne Williams says, facts are facts. Historical facts are facts. If we can't stand up for fact-based education, then we can stop calling it education and start calling it job training for the masses.
And that goes back to your question about am I indoctrinating my children? It would be if the information that they were learning wasn't based on historical scientific facts.
So indoctrination has a tone of not being factual.
And then also pointed in the conclusions in which one should come. I'm primarily presenting information to my children, and they're coming up with conclusions.
Okay, interesting. Carolyn Jack is
asking questions.
Right. Interesting. Carolyn Jack is letting us know what Brother Muhammad's comment said. Again, Brother Muhammad, I'm sorry that we are not reading your comments. We haven't seen them. This could be the program. It might not be you. It might be the program. But she says, he says, proper knowledge of self will create proper knowledge of others. People who lack the knowledge of self will live their lives on an unequal level.
There
Man,
you go. And I mean, we know that this is on stolen land. Like the fact that they're trying to hide that. Come on, there got to be something a little more sinister to that. Like,
this is not appropriate. It's just it's incredible, man.
no, he didn't just say it's not he said he also said it's not true.
And it's not true, right? It's not true. And the reaction is
and this is the governor of Florida. There's a lot of Seminole, like you can't go to Florida and not know that that's Seminole land. You cannot go to Florida and not know that there. I lived in Tallahassee. That is the name of a Seminole chief. How's the governor of Florida telling us that this is not stolen land? Like, what?
Well, it's because of the theory of discovery, which we talked about before, and it needs to be blown up. And
the doctrine of discovery, yes,
doctrine of discovery, exactly right. Like they think is their God-given right to come and discover a land that people are already on. They're not. This is nothing new.
It's not, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Thank you very much for your comments on this. We will definitely pick this up and keep on talking about it. 8:51 right now. If you believe in the concept of time for the haps.
What's the haps? What's happening? What's going down?
Time for the haps. Time for us to talk a little bit about what we think you need to be checking out this weekend, and also what you think you need to tell us what we should be bigging up this weekend as well. Of course, we know this is the season of the vote, so definitely want to put some of those that graphic back up with those important dates that you need to keep in mind. It's coming up. Lots of changes about to happen. You're about to vote. You're about to go see your first opera. Next week is going to be a song.
Be a new person.
It'll be a whole new person.
Today, remember, today is the last day to register in person at the county election office. Again, today at 6 p.m. is the last opportunity to register to vote. And then also, if you would like to vote from home, today is the last opportunity to request that absentee ballot. So again, the deadline is today at 6 p.m.
There you go. And don't forget, next Tuesday, November 8th, that is when the election will happen. You can go to your election office all the way up until November 7th, I believe. Yep. To go early and fill it out there. So this is the time to start arranging rides. This is the time to start getting people going. People that are registered, you can help. You can sit down with the voters guide and check it out. So definitely check that out and study it together. And it's not as extensive as you might expect. It really is. We have been talking about all of these players this whole season. And so you should really know what's going on. Like I said, I'm studying judges right now because I don't know anything about them, but the rest of them kind of no-brainers after this season. So definitely check it out. And if you have any questions, there's plenty of people you can call. Precious McKesson always has her line open. Kimber Snipes is down to talk to you as well. And you can always go back and look at past shows where we have introduced you to some of the candidates in order to get some more information on them as well, right here on First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page, or YouTube or Twitter. Definitely check it out. Brooke Allen is saying the Union has a Wanda Ewing exhibit.
Dope.
Wanda Ewing was a great artist. She passed away a few years back. She was a really good friend of mine, and they've dedicated a lot of the Union for Contemporary Art to her because she was a friend of the founder there too. So I love anything that Wanda Ewing does. As a matter of fact, I only own a couple pieces of art, and one of the pieces of art I own is from her. Definitely go check out that exhibit at Union for Contemporary Art dedicated to Wanda Ewing. She used to be a teacher at UNO. She was a very beloved individual and died unexpectedly. And we were all really heartbroken over that death. So I'm glad to see her being honored now over at the Union and other places. I went all the way to Boston to check out a Basquiat exhibit. Wanda Ewing painting sitting up there when I walked in. I was so proud.
What?
Yes, yes, so
That's dope.
proud,
That's dope.
so proud. Let's move on, buddy. You got some haps for the people?
Yeah, well, I kind of want to work it into the lightning round, but it's still
Okay.
happening. Still happening. Of course, everybody's trying to find out what's happening with this student relief. That is
Yes.
still happening. So again, it is on a temporary block, but again, temporary block. They are reminding that the beta website is still open. The application is still available, but the actual relief and forgiveness is wrapped up in court right now. Again, Republicans are pushing for a stay. Nebraska is one of the 6 states that are voting for it. So again, we'll see how that plan pans out. But the website is still open and the application is still available. So if you fill that out, apparently you will be a part of a waiting list. But as of right now, that is what's happening with the student debt relief plan. So there you go. Also, Paul mentioned this is happening. Elon Musk just bought Twitter, so that's happening. you might see Trump back making his way back. I don't know. That's happening. Also, this is not anything to do with Omaha, but it is happening. Big Daddy Kane, Busta Rhymes, new song called "Slap."
Come on, and it slaps.
Do yourself a favor and check it out. All fans of real hip hop, all friends of real music, real lyricism. Busta Bus and Big Daddy Kane in 2022.
We are in a realm that I mean, this is all brand new.
Twilight Zone.
This is all brand new. This is people. This is a genre of music that they consider is a young man's game. 49 years old. Hip hop is exactly the age of me. 49 years old. And so we're seeing the elder statesmen come back hard with tracks and things. We don't know what older rappers are going to be doing in the future if you think about it like that, because this hip hop is still evolving this way. Well, when stuff like this happens, Big Daddy Kane and Busta Rhymes come together and put something out that's slapping like this. Definitely check it out. Do yourself a favor, as Buddy says. Here's some Village at 24th and Lake stuff going on. We're up to what? October 28th. So
Tomorrow
next
the 29th.
29th.
Yep. Trunk or treat at 3 p.m.
Trunk or treat. There you go. Trunk or treat is happening tomorrow at noon to 3 p.m. If you're into that sort of thing, First Fridays is happening on November 4th. Got to find out what they're doing in down in the Deuce on First Fridays. I hope they got some art stuff going on that I don't know about yet, but we'll see what's up. Black Business Market happening November 12th. So lots of stuff happening in November and December. You can definitely check that out. I believe at the Union for Contemporary Art has some of this stuff on their site, but also the Empowerment Network. They're behind a lot of what goes on here for 24th and Lake. And of course, you got Christmas in the Village that happens every year too. That's a pretty huge deal. So definitely check out your dates for the things that are coming up there for sure. Don't forget our sister over here, Whitney Richardson, who has a new podcast out called Political Evolution. We had her on the show, and we'll have her back on the show to promote this again. And we'll do a lot of little cross promotion and stuff like that with her, because she dives even deeper into the political sphere than we do. And you can go over there and check her out. She already had politics. She already had Precious McKesson, History Making Pete, on her show.
Yep.
And dove deep into more about who Precious is. You want to learn about that? Definitely go check her out. iTunes, anywhere you get your podcast, you'll just put in Political Evolution, and you'll find Whitney Richardson there making it happen. So shout out to her. Shout out to the Weberized crew for helping produce that podcast, and always having our back as well, for sure. I want to get over to Brianna Fool's election night watch party that's happening November 8th. 7 to 9:30. There's going to be a few election night watch parties happening that night. This is one of them over at the Culture House. Definitely check that out. There's going to be live music, hors d'oeuvres, drinks, and donations will be accepted for OPS Secondary Success Programs Thanksgiving baskets. So you can bring a turkey, ham, pie, potatoes,
you
tomatoes, name it. Dinner rolls. It's going down over there November 8th, 2022, not 7 o'clock, over at the Culture House. Brianna Fool's election night watch party. Definitely check that out. Let me see what else I got over here. North O Craft Vendor Expo coming up on November 5th and 6th as well. Do not know who's behind this, but it was somebody who was who posted on Friends of First Sky Omaha. So I thought I'd pull it out because it's on 5001 North 42nd Street. So that's what's going on. That's what's happening. We
Okay.
definitely check out the North O Vendor Expo, buddy. What you got for the peoples?
Man, they want to remind the people to check out the Culture House. A lot of haps going on at the Culture House. They are bringing back their open mic. That's every Tuesday at 7 p.m. So definitely support local artists coming through doing their things. And big shout out to my man Marcy Yates down there at the Culture House. Definitely make sure you support not just the Culture House, but the artists that they have there, man. Also, if you're looking for something to do on Halloween, it is this weekend. They will have a costume bash and Halloween party that's going down. Don't see a date on this flyer actually. Yeah, I have to see. Halloween night actually is going down Halloween night. So on the 30th, excuse me. So yeah, come down in your costumes. There will be live performances. Looks like from a few punk bands, a Garst band, Estrogen Projection, and Bad Self Portraits band.
That's quite the names.
Yeah. But again, if you're looking for something to do, there'll be a haunted house as well. So $10 at the door.
I would say the best punk band name I've ever heard in my life is a punk band here in Omaha, Nebraska.
What's the name?
The Shitiots.
Hey, okay. It's not bad. It's not bad
at all. Definitely go check out a couple other things that's happening here. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Were you done?
No. That's it. Support the Culture House. That's all.
That's what's up. Support the Culture House. Check out. We're having a thing over at the Benson Theater Coco screening on November the 5th. You can bring your kids. So this is a free event. You can bring your kids. There's going to be somebody there from Y Arts that can that will help your kids put crafts together. Like they're going to build masks and stuff like that first. They'll have food there. They'll have some tacos and stuff like there to eat, and then a screening of Coco. So if you want a little afternoon away with the kids somewhere, come to Benson Theater for this. This is happening November 5th at 11:30. Come through at 11:30. Get your craft mask on, get your tacos, and check out a screening of Coco. Nice little afternoon, nice little free afternoon for the kids, most definitely. So come check that out and go to bensontheater.org if you want some information there. I want to give a shout out to Angelie and Timeless, who is going to be at the Holland on November 25th. Mark your dates for that, man. They're really doing the thing here. So we appreciate them, and we appreciate Omaha Performing Arts, our partners over there. We love it when the partners come together, showing Angelie and Timeless November 25th at 7:30 over at the Holland Music Club. It's going down, man. They're reaching those heights. If you playing at the Holland around here, you're doing some things. So that's what's up. That's really what's going on. Also, the OEAA reveal is happening over at the Benson Theater on November 6th at 6 o'clock. It's a free event as well. You can come check that out while they reveal who are the nominees. The actual OEAAs are going to be at a different spot, but this will be the reveal party that we'll have over there. And of course, there's the bar there, not open bar, but there's the bar that you can buy some drinks at. Let me say that right.
Yeah.
Paul B said it's open bar. Where's the Hennessy at? You know how
it was free.
Yeah, man. So anyway, that's what's going on. And then, of course, last but not least, on Wednesday, November 9th, we're going to be showing the film Rhymes for Young Ghouls in honor of Native American what is it? Native American History Month.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so in November, let me just get that right real quick because I keep on saying it wrong. I said indigenous last night. They were like, no, it's not that. I think it's Native American Heritage Month. Excuse me, Native American Heritage Month is November, and so we'll be showing this, and this will be on November the 9th. Rhymes for Young Ghouls. It's a pretty gruesome movie, so it's under 18. You got to come with a parent. It's rated R. But definitely come check it out because it's a really interesting story, and it talks about a lot of the truths, a lot of the atrocities that happened to our indigenous brothers and sisters. We'll have some of the elders from the Umaha tribe that'll be on stage and for a talk back after this film is shown. So definitely support that. Come and check this out November 9th. 7 o'clock is going down. Rhymes for Young Ghouls, very interesting movie, and for the adults. So definitely keep that in mind if you're going to bring kids. Might be a few little gruesome scenes that you don't want them to see. So, but very very important topic, very important subject made by a indigenous filmmaker, and a very important film to come check out. And even more so, come talk to the elders that are coming there to do the talk back. I think that's going to be the significant part for me for sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, the ones that have blessed the first Sky Omaha show will be there. Can't wait to talk to Brother Harlan again. And shout out to Lavelle Wells, who's helping us put this together and trying to get everybody in to come through and support. So definitely check that out on, again, November the 9th, 7:00. With that, I guess you got one more?
You got one more. A big shout out to Big Wade and the Black Swan Theory. They have a show tonight at the Jewel. They're going to goes down tonight at the Jewel at 7:30 p.m. Always supporting Big Wade and the Black Swan Theory. If I'm not mistaken, they might have some new jams on the way. So yeah, definitely. Big shout out to them. Always a good show. So definitely treat yourself with that. And then of course I can't get out of here without saying happy homecoming to my FAMU Rattlers, man. Shout out to all the Rattlers out there. It is homecoming weekend. So yeah, strike and strike again, man.
Hey.
Yeah. HBCUs, man, stand up.
That's really what's going on. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We're already running late. Sorry about that. Well, let's see. Before we do, we definitely want to jump into the chat real quick. Miss Erica Phelps says I have an appointment, so have to run. But glad I caught the woman from Opera Omaha and the great conversation after. I'll check the replay in the waiting room. Drink water, dance to some music.
Hey,
check your health and your dollars. They go together. And be good to yourself. You ain't lying.
There you go.
Arrows 402 reminds us that if Ice-T isn't in our top 5, then he ain't our friend. So that's what it is. Wanda Lewis says, have a great weekend, right? Marianne Williams says, indoctrination is teaching that natives were uncivilized savages when they had a government, agricultural system, and trade. They also had sanitation systems when Europeans were throwing their chamber pots in the streets.
Hello.
But we're taught that pilgrims brought a better life.
Hey.
On indoctrination. Nice quote. Beautiful. Carolyn Jackson says, have an awesome weekend. Great show. Thank you so much. Brooke says, ew. I'm not sure about what. Pop says, Musk has said previously that if he buys Twitter, he's going to allow Trump back in. When Trump is allowed back in, I'm out forever. Anyway, great show as always. I hope we met a new Women's Wednesday edition today, too. Love you all. Have a great weekend. Possibly. And Mama God says, have a great weekend, First Sky fam. You too. Name of the punk band. Yeah, okay, I got you.
Oh. I feel like it's estrogen projection that she's talking about.
That's definitely at you too, for sure. Thanks for everybody that's joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll definitely see you on Monday. Buddy, you got some final words for the people?
Yeah, man. Big shout out to Andrea Pearson.
Yeah, Andrea Joy Pearson. Yep.
Joy Pearson. Okay, I want to get it right. Shout out to Miss Andrea Joy Pearson, everybody's new favorite friend. Definitely making Omaha that much more doper. Please make sure you go and support X, the life and times of Malcolm X. I'm mad I can't support it, but again, we talk about Malcolm X getting the shine and the support in Omaha that he deserves. So we need to do our part and make sure that we're, they provided us with it. So let's do our part and show up and show out, man. So without further ado, everybody take care of yourselves this weekend. Have a safe Halloween if you're taking the babies out for anything. Again, big shout out to all my rattlers out there. And until next time, catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, take it away.
And leave them demons alone. We don't need no ghouls and goblins. We don't really care about nothing about no Halloween. You can dress up any other time. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. But thank you for everybody who's joined us today. And a shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And also shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Thanks for joining us today. And thanks for chiming into the chat so heavily. That's what's going on. Really appreciate everybody who has done that. All the ghost listeners as well. Thank you so much. All the new, like Buddy says, first time listeners, last time listeners. Appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much. We will see you Monday. Have a great weekend. And there was something else I was going to tell you about too. Definitely check out that Big Daddy Kane Busta Rhymes song.
Man, it slaps.
It's going down. With that said, we're going to get out of here. Have a great weekend, y'all. Maybe we'll see you around town. Peace.
By the way, Van Glorious, this is protected by the Red